McCaffrey landed at number 6 on the NFL Top 100 Players list. McCaffrey was the highest-ranked running back, and the only non-quarterbacks ahead of him were Aaron Donald and Michael Thomas. Reggie Bush is still with us. So, Reggie, I start with you. Reggie, do you believe McCaffrey deserved to be the 6th-ranked player and highest-ranked running back?
I think he does, because I think when you look at the top, 5, 6 running backs, let's say Derrick Henry, Nick Chubb, Ezekiel Elliott, maybe even throw Chris Carson in there. Christian McCaffrey brings something different than all these guys. Christian McCaffrey can do things that none of these other guys can do. He's the most versatile player from the running back position right now in the NFL, because he can catch the ball out of the backfield. You can utilize him as a receiver, as a slot receiver. He can play strictly running back and run between the tackles. And just because, if you want to, you can line him up back there as a punt returner, and he can still be just as effective and strike fear in a punt return, in a punt team, and be just as good. So I think Christian McCaffrey is the most versatile of all these guys. Derrick Henry is a different kind of player. You can't compare him to Derrick Henry. You can't compare him to Ezekiel Elliott and Nick Chubb, because those are different type of players. But what I love about Christian McCaffrey is just all the different things that he brings to the table, because that makes it that much harder for a defense to key on him. And that's one of the things that I prided myself in being, my time in the league, was being extremely versatile, because I knew that if I can score a lot of different ways, that just made life a lot harder for the defense and for the defensive coordinator.
The more you can do, they always tell you, Reggie, the more you can do, the more valuable you are. And you look at Christian McCaffrey, he did something that only 2 other men had done before him. Rushed 4,000, received 4,000 in the exact same season. Roger Craig, Marshall Faulk did it. And you talk about guys, he went over 2,400 yards, total scrimmage yards. Chris Johnson has the record of 2,500 with that monster season he had when he went up over 2,000 rush yards. When you look at him, he was right there. He was 3rd in rushing. He was 2nd in catches behind Mike Thomas. But when you look at it, he only finished like 100, 150 yards, 200 yards, maybe behind Derrick Henry. But he had almost 800 more receiving yards. As you mentioned, when you look at guys, I look at Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley can catch the football. He's explosive, but he's not durable like this kid.
Yeah.
Zeke Elliott can run the football, but he can't catch it. He's durable. You look at Chubb, you look at these other guys. Derrick Henry, he's not the receiving threat. So as you mentioned, Reggie, when you combine what he can do in the pass game, what he can do in the run game, running between the tackles, he plays every skip. We've never seen a back. I don't know if we've ever seen a back play, maybe Marshall Faulk, that plays every single snap. He doesn't have to come off the field. There's nobody coming off the field. Okay, we got a 3rd down specialist. Okay, we got a short yardage specialist. He's that. He's everything. I misspoke earlier, Skip. Early on, I think in 2018, I think Le'Veon Bell finished 5th. And then Todd Gurley 1 year finished 6th. So Christian McCaffrey, we know Adrian Peters with that monster season he had in 2012, 2,097 rush yards. He was number 1. But I believe they got it right. But I think the biggest thing is, Reggie, when you look at it, let's get the elephant out the room. He's white. He plays running back. That's what's got people baffled. How can the best running back in the NFL, with all these brothers playing running back, be white and he be the best? That's what this is about. But I believe they got this one right, Skip. I really do.
By the way, that is baffling me, and I'm white. Reggie, I told Shannon I have to go back to 1982 to a point when I last considered a white guy as the best running back in this game, and that was John Riggins. I know, Reggie, it's way before your time, but he took over a strike-shortened NFL season down the stretch for the Washington Redskins, MVP of the Super Bowl. But John Riggins went 230 pounds, and he was a 100-yard dash champ in high school in the state of Kansas. So he could fly for his size. He was a rare talent for his time, but that's 38 years ago, and I did not think that in 2020 we would see any kind of white running back suddenly vault all the way up to 6th on the top 100 list and be ranked number 1 in the whole National Football League. So maybe I have some sort of anti-bias that way, because I keep telling Shannon, man, I keep trying to buy completely in, and I can't buy completely in. But Reggie, let me turn it back to you, because the question is, do you have a greater appreciation for Christian McCaffrey because he reminds you in some ways of you as a player?
I do. I have a huge appreciation for what he's doing because it's everything that I wanted to do. You know, it's everything that I wanted to be and I tried to be. And he's doing it at such a high level. And when we talk about his versatility, you know, to me, one of the things that I missed out on that I wish I could go back and do is when I got to year 8 and 9, I wish I made that transition to slot receiver because I could have put another 5-6 years at the end of my career. And I think Christian McCaffrey can do that same thing because we all know running backs have a life expectancy in this league, right? And so to play at a high level like he's doing, I say, let's say in a perfect world, 8 years, right? At that 9th year, he can switch to slot receiver, be just as explosive, be just as effective, and maybe even make himself some money on the back end because of that switch and adding more years to his career because he's saving his body. He's not having to go through that same torture when you got to run through those tackles.
But the thing is, Reggie, is that he's having so many touches early. I don't know if 8 years is possible. You're thinking about 116 catches, and you throw 250 to 275 rushes, and all those hits, and all that on the people landing on top of you, you landing on the ground. That's an awful lot. But when you look at his ability to 4.8 yards a rush, that's unbelievable. And I was never in doubt because if you watch this offense in college, he ran between the tackles. Stanford is the most pro-style offense that you're going to see. That's why everybody loved Andrew Luck so much because he took the ball from under center. He handed the guy was in the I formation, and so he was ready to go. And people just doubted because I think the thing is that, like I said, he's a white running back. It would be the equivalent, Skip, if Adam Thielen was the best wide receiver in football when you got Julio, D-Hop, and Michael Thomas. People are like, oh, no, that can't happen. But that's what
you're tried that too for a second.
But that's what you're looking at with Christian McCaffrey because it's been so few and far between, especially in the last 20 years, Skip. We've basically only had one guy. Peyton Hill has had that anomaly season.
It was a flash in the pan.
And even when Mike Allstott was doing what he was doing in Tampa, nobody thought Mike Allstott was the best running back in football. You have to really consider, and I believe that he is because of his durability, because of his versatility. That's what makes Christian McCaffrey unique. Now, yeah, I'm a little biased. Hell, I know his father. I went to school. I played football for like 7-8 years with his dad. Know his mom, and I've been knowing him since he was born. But, Skip, it's hard to deny what he's been able to do since he's entered into the league. When a lot of people didn't think he could do it because everybody was questioning, yeah, he had a great season, but, you know, he's at Stanford and yada, yada, yada. And he's come in and he's exceeded expectations.
But are you sure that Christian McCaffrey isn't more icing than cake? The ultimate cake I saw down the stretch last year was Derrick Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he just pounded defenses into submission between the tackles.
Yeah.
Christian is not big. What's he go, 205?
205, yeah. He's 205, 207 tops.
To me, he can't impose his will between the tackles on a defense. He can scare the hell out of a defense because it's just hard to stop him in so many various ways. And he can get you between the tackles if he slips untouched between the tackles.
Hey, Reggie, Reg, can I ask you a question? I got to ask Jenny, too. At your ceremony, at your wedding ceremony, did your cake have icing on it or did you have a bundt cake? Don't nobody want no bundt cake for a wedding cake. Everybody want icing on their cake. And so if this kid is icing, he good.
Shannon, I want a blunt cake. How about a Derrick Henry blunt cake? Blunt force.
This is what I would say about Derrick Henry is that it just looks different, right? And so when you match Derrick Henry up against Christian McCaffrey, they wear you out differently. Christian McCaffrey wears you out by chasing him around all day.
Psychologically.
Derrick Henry wears you out by running through your chest and your mouth all day.
He does.
Because the thing is, Skip, I know where Derrick Henry is going to be. He's going to be 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That's where Derrick Henry's going to be. Christian McCaffrey's going to be offset. He's going to be in the eye. He's going to be in the slot. He's going to be out wide. He's going to be in motion. So he forces you mentally to keep a track. Okay, where? Oh, come on, man. Hey, we got to check.
Way out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So now Shannon Sharp is taking credit for Christian McCaffrey ranking 6, right? You raised him.
Little bit.
Oh, but that picture of you guys, it is so cool to see.
Chase him around the locker room, Skip. That's what got him fast.
I don't know about your sunglasses in the picture, Shannon, but we're going to let that go for now. I mean,
come on.
I don't know.
He got them blue blockers on.
Yeah,
Blue blockers.
Whoa.